The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. Me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Another day where we got a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of country. And today, it's a little bit of country. We're up 5.5 points on the S&P cash at 2117. Again, no volume today, 1.8 billion shares. So basically in the summertime trading, we've got a lot of dubious rumors coming out today on the last day of what should be fund buying. Sometimes you get a little bit coming in on the morning after. Some stragglers, some orders didn't get fired off, but normally we're done by about this time, 2 o'clock on Tuesday or on the last day of fund buying. For new listeners, which we always have, I always like to remind people that there is organic reasons for movements in the market. Sometimes it's options expiration. Sometimes it's rollovers for futures. Sometimes it's basically fund buying. And 85% of funds basically say that they will be 100% invested by the beginning of each month. That means basically the last 2 or 3 days of the month, the first 2 days of, or the last 3 days of the month, first 2 days of the month. So there is a bias. It's about 3/4 or 1% over the last 20 years of funds. And of course, if you're, in Wall Street and that 401 money's coming in, it's coming in, may not be a lot. Still, the easiest thing in the world to do is mark up the market, and no use letting the suckers buy in cheap. And of course, if you're a fund, you are probably owned by one of the Wall Street bigwigs out there, and they basically say, if you're not buying at the top, you're not trying. And, they'll just replace you with somebody else as you blow up in a later date. So to them, it's not a big deal, but they'll put pressure on you. In the old days, of course, it was making all the money by churning people, telling them to buy something one day, telling them to sell it the next. And, of course, the company itself was on the opposite side of it. Your worst friend was your stockbroker. His job was to keep stocks churning until you were out of cash. Of course, they don't make any money when your stock goes up. They only make money when they bought and sold. And of course, the easiest money was to scare you out and or get you in at the wrong time, and they made even more. Of course, this was the quote dark history of brokers, and we're going to get into why that's important today on some action that other people have. Andy Heck is in the den here. He's posting. He's got 3 new articles. He writes so much, I suspect that he should start his own Wall Street Journal. But a lot of new articles on Seeking Alpha. And the one I slightly helped with was Diamond in the Rough. He bounces off titles for me, snappy titles. I always liked the part in Patton, where he calls the priest up and he goes, "I need a snappy prayer that God will answer. I need good weather." I always like that part of it. Well, I am kind of in the area of snappy titles, not snappy content, snappy titles. And when I heard that one, we were bouncing titles off, and he brought that one up. That was his idea. I said, that's it. You're not going to find anything better. You could spend another week, and you might, that one's a 9. Maybe you get a 9.5. Maybe you get a 10. But in the meantime, there'll be 20 other titles that come and go for his articles. So time to move on. You get a 9. It's kind of like a trade. Do you really want to wait for that last 10th and maybe, miss, a bunch of 5s and 6s and 7 trades? Maybe not. Anyway, they will be out tomorrow. Embargoed, are they? Okay. Okay. Anyway, we got a lot going on out here. Again, this is the last day of fun buying. Not a lot going on out here. I am told I am the title king from someone that will remain nameless other than his name is Andy. Anyway, you can always call me at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path, P-A-T-H, at TFNN.com. And, of course, you can post messages in the den. And I just don't see a lot here. 1.88 billion shares as we start the show on the New York Consolidated Tape. If you're new to this show, too, I don't use the floor-traded New York Stock Exchange volume. I use the Consolidated Tape, which is the Amex, and all shares of anything traded, no matter where it's traded, whether it's traded in the bathroom, on the moon, it has to be reported, and that is the final amount of shares traded. And a lot of these ECNs trade, of course, high-frequency traders trade off those. So you see a lot more volume in there. When Tom comes on at 3 o'clock, he'll talk about 5 or 6 or 700 million shares, and that's only what's traded across the trading room floor at the highest price. At 1/5 or 1/10 that, the ECNs will handle shares. But if you've got to unload a ton of stock on somebody, you're probably going to want to pay up for that guy on the floor to work your trades out so it doesn't put the price down. So if you want to buy some stock manipulation, you're probably going to have to grease some palms. You're going to have to wet some beaks. Boy, am I going to get a few more movie mixed metaphors in before today? Again, I pretty much have the digressing award hands down, but this year I'm going for a double and getting the mixed metaphor award on TFNN. Anyway, 21.14 and change on the S&P cash, kind of meandering around here. I don't see any real probability of higher prices in this market. Could they make this thing go sideways for a while longer? Yes. Are we going to continue to see phony rumors of a Greek deal? The answer is yes. Let me put it this way. There's a guy standing on the street corner, and he's got, if you're down here in Florida, he's got a little orange vest on, and he's got a sign that says, "We'll work for food." And you look at him, and he's got one tooth. Well, guy's probably not faking that he doesn't have a bunch of money. Now, you see another guy out there that's rubbed dirt all over his face. His teeth are great. His fingernails are trimmed. He's got new tennis shoes on, but dirty jeans. He's a panhandler. You know that he's not real. The real guy is the guy with one tooth. And that is the problem out here. We've got somebody that you know are basically out of cash. There isn't any cash coming to them. And the only thing, what kind of deal can they make? Indentured servitude? Can they be this, can a political official in Greece say that the Greeks will be slaves for the next 10 years to pay off their ill-gotten gains from debts that they're not going to pay off now? The answer is no. No one's going to sign up for that. So eventually we know the answer. Of course, if you listen to the show on Friday, I was talking to Tom O'Brien. At least in the press in Europe, it's all discussed as extend and pretend. Extend the date so that we can try to get everybody, situated for it. Happy, know that Greece is going belly up. It's going to join the choir Invisibule. They will be a dead parrot, if you get that reference. Another mixed metaphor for a movie. Whew. I'm packing them away today. Anyway, not a lot going to happen out there. Basically, Europe has one of two things to do. They can basically just know that Greece is going to be a permanent welfare state, and that's the cost of keeping everybody in Europe together. But with England probably leaving in 2017, is it worth a lot of money to save and try to push them into doing that? It's just tough for me to see. I think the idea is to get everybody, kind of like all the movies about aliens and the government. They want to slowly introduce the ideas that they're going to be down probing you in no time at all. The idea is if we just show them enough movies and we throw some dummies out here in a desert in the middle of New Mexico, we'll write some stories, and that'll cover for a lot of our development of new airplanes that maybe people will think are UFOs. And in the meantime, our alien overlords, they're probably going to be here in 50 years, so we'll get everybody all ready for them. At least that's the story in the movies. Kind of the exact same thing going on with the cabal of Europe. And the stories are somewhat extremely dubious about some kind of deal. How many days have we gone through that we've got a deal with Greece? First, it's the Greeks saying they have a deal, then them saying not, then the EU saying they've got a deal. The Greeks say that they don't. And the truth of the matter is it's like a deal with the Iranians. Probably not worth the paper it's printed on. The question is just, do they want to portray this, and how long do they want to pretend, and how long do they want to extend? But that's neither here nor there. As always, we should look to history for the answer.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1985, R.J. Reynolds takes a deep breath and gobbles up Nabisco Brands, an acquisition valued at $4.9 billion. Probably today wouldn't even get mentioned on CNBC. The largest takeover yet on record outside the oil industry. RJR Nabisco for $85 a share, a huge premium back at that time, over $60, which really started this huge move. But a lot of people basically saying, nothing's going to change. Deal's not likely to have much of effect. Nothing to see here. These aren't the droids you want. I guess Star Wars was that by then. So they could have said that, although they didn't. Food industry doubts that any more mergers will follow. 3 months later, Philip Morris buys General Foods, and the war is on for what is a huge payday on Wall Street for all this M&A action. They figured out a way to wet their beaks and to cross their palms with some silver. And it's always a good day when there's a takeover out there, because, of course, there's always someone paid off on Wall Street to get the job done and protect a little protection racket. In fact, I'm surprised there isn't a guy on Wall Street that just doesn't stay around going, it would be a bad thing if someone come by and broke your window on this great merger. If someone just came by and threw a rock on it, it would be a bad thing. I could watch it for you. And that's basically what this is. We won't absolutely slam your stock with huge shorts, but you got to give us a taste. You got to cross our palms with silver. On this day in 1985, we'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crisp crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. And I got a few emails here I'll try to answer in the second half of the show, but you can join along. In the meantime, we're watching this market and watching paint dry. There's an actual good video on YouTube about paint drying and how it dries. Not near as boring as a market that's stuck in a 2-point range at S&P. Actually quite enjoyable. Other things we've got going on out here today, the broker check. I was talking about the brokers earlier today. The FINRA, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, today announced a national ad campaign promoting broker check, brokercheck.finra.org. So you can check out who your broker is. If anybody is not dealing with one of the giant firms out there, actually has a broker they pick up and talk to. You can find out about his certifications, his licenses, as well as regulatory actions, violations, or complaints made against them. And I kind of thought about this as kind of the to catch a predator thing. Chris Hansen, you can look them all up. But it made me think of just Chris Hansen and how, if you were a pedophile, wouldn't you just figure that whoever's answering on the other side was Chris Hansen? It's the same way every time you see one of these court cases where somebody, the ex-wife or the wife, hires a hitman, and it's always the FBI guy sitting in a car. I just think you have to probably, if you're into either one of those, just assume the guy is the FBI on the other side of this. I've never seen a film where it wasn't. Let me put it that way. But just a thought. I guess Catch a Predator. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was a show that was actually on financial infotainment to catch a broker? And we had audio tape of all the stupid things that these brokers were telling people to do over time. I think it would be interesting. Anyway, other random thoughts out here. We've already talked about that. WWDC is next week. This is the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference. It's from the 8th through the 12th. A sycophantic press that wants an easy week hanging out in San Francisco. We'll all trot on out there, especially in the financial community. They will dutifully say whatever Apple tells them, just like the weak-minded in Star Wars. There's not a lot of people asking very tough questions for Apple. In fact, I've only seen one guy actually come on CNBC and say that he thought maybe Apple had topped out. Not a very good sign for the most part out here. But they'll have a lot of new things. This seems to be one where normally by this time we figured at least a few things that they've been talking about are starting to leak. Not a lot so far. In fact, we're pretty much confirmed now that they will not be talking about their music streaming service next week, and unclear of, well, they've already let it known that Apple TV won't be shown next week, and all the things that they're working on. I'm sure there's stuff out there that they are working on that would be exciting. But at the same time, we're going to have a bunch of people out there like Walt Mossberg. Walt is going to have to dutifully tell people that everything that they're doing is great. I've now figured out how he works this whole recode thing. If he was to be excommunicated from the flock of Apple, his business would probably pretty much be over. So he's always got to give a softball reference to Apple and not ask any real tough questions out there or demean them or say that they've ever done anything wrong. Apple is more than willing than any political campaign to cut you off at the knees if it thinks that you may not be in their quote camp. Steve Jobs did a huge job of making sure that Walt Mossberg was in the camp. From what I understand or read, although I haven't watched it myself, there was a whole lot of stuff with hanging out with him, making sure that he got on the private jet with us to go to Comdeck. A lot of that stuff where you blur the line between friend and journalist, who should be at least have some level of objectivity. Kind of the equivalent of you maybe on a Sunday morning show grilling somebody over their book when you basically privately and didn't say anything about the 75 G's that you gave the people that are the subject of that book. There couldn't be any conflict of interest that way, could it? Anyway, dutiful and sycophantic press will be all over that, slobbering all over it. They may not be, if there isn't anything coming out now, there probably isn't anything coming out. So we'll watch the next day and see if anything else leaks. But be careful if there is no news next week. We'll be back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they've just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Futures Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until June 11th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all of the upside at maturity. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you get back 100% of your deposited principal. Don't miss out. The June 11th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. As always, kind of a quiet day now that we've gotten into the summer and last day of fund buying out here. So we'll continue to look and see what's out here. One of the minor news happening is Microsoft bought a company called Wunderlist. If you're unfamiliar with this app company, basically it's a to-do kind of thing, but you can collaborate with it. With other folks in there, so you can make sure that you put all the stuff together that you need to do. And I don't know if there's a whole lot of other to say about it other than that, but $200 million acquisition by Microsoft, much better than doing something silly like buying Salesforce. But to me, it shows that we're still seeing Microsoft on a acquisition, but of a small acquisition-sized products that can be easily incorporated back into the bigger company. This is a German company, which is rather rare to see Microsoft dabble in countries like Germany. But this is one of the better apps out here. You can always check it out. I think it's in both Apple and Android, but I haven't played with it. But yeah, I guess it's interesting. But some of the best reviews of any app out there, an app company, and my guess is that they bought this to incorporate Cortana in it, so you can just talk about all the things that you want to do, and it'll automatically pop in there. My guess is the synergy between something like Cortana and Wunderlist is going to be huge. And my guess is since they've got versions out there and figured out how to do the whole thing, probably not going to take a long time to get this moved over to Windows and Windows Phone and the desktop. But looks like a very interesting thing of putting together the Cortana digital assistant, voice assistant, and other things that Microsoft's looking at. Anyway, that's pretty much all the snooze that I have. We're going to get into actual movement in the markets themselves of individual stocks while we're waiting for something to happen out here. EraCap out here today launched a secondary offering of 50 million shares on behalf of American AIG. It said it would repurchase up to $750 million of the offering, and that was enough to, albeit lower this morning, take it off when they made the announcement out there. Kind of a confusing thing of what they're doing out there, but let's see how the market reacts. BMO Financial with a tiny bit of news, very tiny out here. Where's it at? Got to find them in my list. I can't find them now. A little pop-up here today. Not much volume out here. Still looks like this thing wants to come down to around $57. What else do we have? Another company offering shares out here today. A different story, though. This one's off 5%. That is the Carlyle Group, if you're familiar with those folks. And generally, you know, this is, you know, I guess they think they're raising cash to buy more stuff, but at the same time, market probably doesn't like that at the top. But you know, direct fund of investments within direct investments specializes in management-led leveraged buyouts, privatization, and with low interest rates and probably low interest rates to go, probably not a lot of leveraged buyouts coming out anytime soon. Market did not like it at all. Heavy volume down. This thing looks like it's in a bigger trading range, back down to about the mid 25 C-trip. Out with the news. It got a unsolicited, what, QNR, QUNR is one of the other big stocks out there in China land. And it basically, they say they got a unsolicited proposal from C-Trip. And of course, who knows what the books are really like over there. No one likes this, I suspect, because of the accounting issues. Not only now did you have C-Trip, but you'd have the accounting issues possibly of QUNR also. And this thing was down much heavier in the morning. Recovered a lot of the gap down, but my guess is that if this is anywhere close to real, it's probably got to be it. Now, this is one of these three gap plays. So I'm going to be watching this and seeing if I can't find a way to get short this. Not today, but you know, any real change in the Chinese market that the top of the bubble is going to be in, I would suspect that this one would be one of these that could easily come back and fill all three gaps back to this high volume gap. Maybe you just get 53 out of this thing, but this thing's got a pretty wide margin out here. And if they continue to do stupid stuff like buy bigger frauds than themselves in China, might be a good area. One of the things I thought was very interesting last night in my notes when I was going through what people were talking about yesterday in the market was Carson Block, who works for a company called Muddy Waters. If you haven't been around a long time, Muddy Waters is one of the big short firms out here. They basically go in and tear apart people's business balance sheets and figure out where they're lying and or severe weak points in the thesis of a company going on as an ongoing concern. Basically, they're betting on frauds and companies going out of business. Now, what was most interesting about his interview last night, I think it was on CNBC, this Carson Block was talking about how he was short these different companies over in China. And one company that had been shorted was nothing but a house of cards. But there is something very interesting in China, and that is if a company asks that it does not want to be traded, they can halt the stock at any time. And they, as long as they want it, if they want it halted for the next 10 years, there is no regulation that forces them to be long again. So basically, these people shorted them. Some people came out with basically all the dirt on this company to show it was a massive fraud. The company basically just says, we're not going to trade any shares. So what they're doing is making sure that even if we're a fraud, there's no way you're going to be able to buy back your stock at lower prices. And maybe, if you want to hang on for a year, maybe that's good. Maybe we'll just make a deal with you to get your cash back and you go away and quit talking about our fraudulent company. But again, there's 100 reasons not to be in these Chinese companies. Probably the worst is frauds, buying out frauds, and or questionable business practices, and or just a litany of other things. Again, who knows what the truth is? I have no idea. So I'm not saying these companies are, but we know that there's little or any work that the SEC is doing in China on these particular stocks. Very interesting on this particular company to see that there isn't a lot going on with it. Kind of tried to pop up earlier, back down lower out here. I suspect that the way that the market reacted to the buyout, they got the word real quick that they didn't want any more risk in a single company. And Canar's probably, maybe the whole thing was a fraudulent rumor to begin with, but you never know. So anyway, just a thought out here. Airlines mostly lower out here today. They announced that PRASM fell 5.5% year over year, and DLA was down 2.5% out here. But almost all these airlines were showing, something like that, 2-3% out here on that news. On the upside today, Juno, of course, is outperforming after AstraZeneca said it may be interested in the names of the immuno-oncology space. Juno announced it would acquire Xbody, a privately held biotech. And this thing, again, a lot of shorts out here, very thin markets. And we're seeing these kind of intraday moves where you get $3-4 to the high side that does not hold either that day or by the next day. Half of the spike up where they ran the shorts out of the market are over. We're seeing that in Juno today. And we'll see what else we have out here. PVH, where's that in my list out here? There it is. It actually did have earnings up, beat Q1 consensus estimates by 12 cents, reported in-line guidance, in-line revenues below consensus, raised to fiscal year. EPS is reaffirmed sales. FX announced a 500 million share buyback, and that's really what moved the stock out there. That is the basically stating that they're going to buy back these shares and put something back in. This company was $129 back on December 31st, and that probably tells you a great deal about what's going on out here. What else do we have out here for news? Okay, I'll try to get to that by the end of the show. Let's see, what else do we have? Get back out here. A lot of upgrades for Zion Bancorps. Again, I think catching a lot of people maybe asleep on this one. ZION. This thing had found very hard resistance at the upper 28s, $29, and fairly light volume out here. Again, why the mouse is away, the cat will play. And basically just saying stuff that corporate restructuring, financial engineering, we will shuck the burdens of these shorts on top of our company with a bunch of other stuff, and it looks like it was organized with a bunch of usual suspects coming out there with upgrades, of course, just to make sure that all you folks out there make plenty of money. They want to make sure that you all know about it. The loser of the day, PBYI, Puma Biotechnology. This one's blown apart out here. Let's go back a little bit farther. This thing had a massive, huge gap up on a drug getting approved. That goes back to the 23rd of June or July of 2014. We are back in this gap today, certainly with some decent volume, not nearly the volume that we had on that gap up, which was, 8.2 million shares. We're down with 2.8 million shares, but there is yet another gap out here, and that gap is at about $65. I would be watching for that gap and a lot of this to be filled over time, and I don't know what else you can say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Thank you. Thank you, Forrest. NUE, why are they on my list out here? Sector strength in metals, Vail, FX, FCX, and new also higher, mostly on the dollar, I suspect, out here. Nucor products up today. Volume's okay. Looks to me like resistance would be at the $51 level, where this thing gapped down on the 16th of December last year with 4.6 million shares, and we're far from that today, so not that much up here. Speaking of the dollar, kind of be one of the more interesting moves out here today, and it looks to me, while following the dollar out here, that there wasn't a lot of reason for the dollar to get smacked down today. I suspect this looks like the Treasury, the Fed, and the EU guys all getting together to smack this thing around a little bit. I didn't see a lot of actual volume and dollar change. The real question would be if this is all intervention, and I'm starting more and more to suspect that this isn't a lot of FX traders pushing stuff back and forth based on any fundamentals, but dubious leaks between Washington and Europe or Brussels, I guess it would be if you're talking about the EU, and really trying to move these things around a little bit. The reason I would say that is I was figuring that technically you should have had a massive move out of gold today, and why the move was good, 46 cents on GLD. This should, if it was real, should have seen a $30, I suspect, move in gold today. Now that we are not getting it makes me think that at least the gold traders don't think as a group that this dollar move out here is anything more than something speculative that the Fed in Brussels are a dalliance doing out here. So that would be it. Yeah, or is it BS? But we can see. Now we're back to flat on the S&P cash out here. What a big surprise. 2111, 2 billion shares, not even 2.1 billion shares. So we're much, much lighter. As we go into the break here, I don't hear the music. Are we there? Okay, here we come. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Still have plenty of time to call me. I'll try to get in those emails.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
This morning or last night, I think it was this morning, beat Q1 consensus EPS estimates by 3 cents, reported inline revenues, and a lot of people were short this thing. I'd been looking at shorting some of these stocks out here, and for me, it just looked problematic. Too many shorts out here on some of these stocks. Dollar General, I suspect, was one of them. The news was not that good. And again, giving back a great deal of this pop out here. My guess is after 3 days and the margin calls are over, we probably see a great deal of this gap filled out here. You do have a lot of volume basically coming up to $76.99. But for me, it just continues to look like this market's getting ready to roll over on some very light volume. And what we have today is the last hurrah of fund buying, and they kept this market up. And as they say, they ran it up the flagpole and no one saluted, or at least not enough people saluted. But we're at 21.11. If we close under 21.08, yet another nail in the coffin. And we'll continue to look at that. FCX, we were talking about energy and these companies, at least in the metals out here. Probably more to do with the dollar than anything else. I don't see a lot of energy in this move in FCX today. You basically are bouncing off the high volume move of the 15th of April, where this thing did come up on decent volume. So basically it came back down on fairly light volume. You did have a pretty big down day with 27.6 million shares on the 26th of May into that, but not enough. So probably around here it was due for a technical bounce. Maybe it's setting up an ABC back down, but my thoughts are that FCX is headed back down to an untested low, which is $16.43. And not a lot else going on in here. Let's see what else we have. I've got time to touch on before the end of the day out here. We got Dollar General, we got Arrow, we got C-Trip, Intel, INTC. A lot of people downgrading it today from Outperform, of course, because they bought the Altera. I suspect that this thing was basically had come up to its technical selling point anyway. That is this decent gap down from the 27th of January with 58.5 million shares. We got into it yesterday with 46, or actually on Friday, 46 million shares. So it was pretty much in tune. I just suspect this is in a larger trading range from about 31.5 to 34.75. I'm thinking the market's pull back, so all these will pull back. This would not be on my short list. I suspect, especially when we start seeing people upgrade again to Windows 10 and touchscreen monitors, that at least Intel is going to get a little love, maybe a little squeeze, maybe a nice little hug out here from yet another upgrade cycle from Microsoft. And why these all may pull back with the market, I suspect it pulls back less than other stocks out there. So I would not be jumping up and down to short this one today. What else did we have out here? Got a downgrade that actually hit the stock fairly hard, and that was Iron Mountain. This thing had already been in a downtrend, pretty much had done kind of a retrace back up to a gap up that got sold back on the 28th of April. It got back into that, this time with no volume on the 20th of May, and it's been headed back down. You've got a low out here at 33.88 that looks May 6th. Looks like that's going to get tested on a bigger time frame. I'm looking at this big gap from 30 to 31 bucks. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. Hang on for Tom O'Brien and then Andy Heck. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.